Imagine two worlds colliding, one shaped by relentless discipline, the other by unshakable curiosity. On one side, you have John Cena, a man who built his life on strength, commitment, and a philosophy that echoes in the hearts of millions. Never give up. On the other, Joe Rogan, a voice of curiosity and exploration, constantly seeking deeper truths in a world full of noise. Now picture them sitting across from each other, not in a wrestling ring, not under the bright lights of Hollywood, but in a quiet studio where words carry more weight than punches. This isn't just a conversation, it's a reflection of two different paths that surprisingly lead to the same destination: growth, resilience, and inner peace. Cena's discipline teaches us that strength isn't about muscles, it's about staying true to your word when no one is watching. Rogan reminds us that asking the right questions can be more powerful than having all the answers. Together, their energy becomes something bigger than themselves, a reminder that no matter where you come from, you can shape your life with courage, curiosity, and unbreakable discipline. This is the conversation that could change your life. When you look at John Cena, the first thing most people see is strength. They see the muscles, the championship belts, the Hollywood roles. But if you peel back those layers, what you truly find is discipline, the kind of discipline that doesn't fade when the spotlight goes out. Cena's life has been a constant reminder that success doesn't come from talent alone, but from showing up every single day, no matter how you feel. From the early mornings in the gym to the countless hours spent perfecting his craft, Cena embodies a truth that many of us forget. Discipline is freedom. It frees you from regret, from the pain of procrastination, from the weight of what could have been. His famous words, "Never give up," are not just a catchphrase for fans to chant. They're a personal creed built through years of sacrifice and resilience. What makes Cena's discipline so powerful is not just its intensity, but its consistency. Anyone can work hard for a day or a week, but true discipline is when you keep going even when nobody notices. That's the secret he carries. Success is quiet, built in the shadows, long before it is celebrated in the light. In a world where distractions pull us in every direction, Cena reminds us that the greatest strength we can have is not physical. It's the ability to keep promises to ourselves. His life says, if you want peace, build discipline. If you want freedom, master yourself. Joe Rogan is not just a podcast host, a comedian, or a commentator. At his core, he is a seeker, a man who is endlessly curious about life, truth, and the human experience. While many people live within the walls of their own beliefs, Rogan's gift is his willingness to step outside those walls and ask the uncomfortable questions. He doesn't claim to have all the answers, but he has the courage to explore them. That curiosity is what makes his conversations so magnetic. Whether he's speaking with a scientist, an athlete, or a spiritual teacher, his goal is the same: to understand, to dig beneath the surface of what people say, and find the raw, unfiltered truth. And in a world where everyone wants to shout their opinions, Rogan listens. He leans into the unknown, and he's not afraid to say, "I don't know." That humility is rare, but it's what allows real wisdom to grow. Rogan's perspective is also deeply human. He knows what it means to struggle, to doubt, to wrestle with life's complexities. He understands that peace doesn't come from ignoring the hard questions, it comes from facing them. By creating a space where nothing is off limits, he shows us that curiosity itself can be a form of courage. And maybe that's the most powerful lesson Joe Rogan offers. Curiosity is not weakness, it's strength. It means you're open, flexible, and willing to grow. It means you care more about truth than ego. When you look at Rogan's journey, you realize that the path to peace isn't about knowing everything. It's about being brave enough to ask, to listen, and to learn. So while Cena represents the discipline of the body and the will, Rogan represents the discipline of the mind and the spirit. Together, their philosophies point to something greater, that peace is not found in extremes, but in balance, between action and reflection, strength and curiosity, speaking and listening. Now imagine a moment where John Cena and Joe Rogan sit across from one another. It isn't just two celebrities talking, it's two worlds merging. One world is built on unshakable discipline. the other on relentless curiosity, and when those two meet, something extraordinary happens. Cena speaks with the authority of a man who has pushed his body and mind beyond breaking points. Every word carries the weight of sweat, sacrifice, and years of showing up no matter how hard it got. Rogan, on the other hand, approaches with wonder. He doesn't just hear what Cena says, he dissects it, turns it around, and asks the kind of questions that most of us never stop to consider. The contrast is striking, yet it feels perfectly aligned. What Cena sees as routine and structure, Rogan sees as a mystery worth exploring. Why does discipline matter? What makes a person push past pain when it would be easier to quit? Rogan isn't just looking for answers for himself, he's giving the audience permission to reflect on their own lives. And Cena's answers, born from years of dedication, become lessons not just about wrestling or acting, but about life itself. This is where the magic lies. Cena's discipline gives form to Rogan's curiosity, while Rogan's curiosity gives depth to Cena's discipline. Together they create a dialogue that is more than conversation. It's a mirror for anyone listening. It shows us that strength without understanding can be rigid, and understanding without discipline can be hollow. But when the two come together, they create balance. It's almost as if you're listening to two halves of the same truth. One teaches you how to endure, the other teaches you why you endure. And in that combination, you find a path not to fame, not to success as the world defines it, but to something much deeper: peace, purpose, and meaning. When two powerful energies collide, they don't cancel each other out. They amplify. That's what happens when John Cena's discipline meets Joe Rogan's curiosity. It's no longer about one man's story or another man's perspective. It becomes about the universal truths that live within all of us. Think about discipline for a moment. On its own, it's structure. It's the daily repetition, the habit, the commitment. But without purpose, discipline can become robotic. You can move every day without ever moving forward. Now think about curiosity. On its own, it's wonder, it's exploration, it's asking questions that open new doors. But without structure, curiosity can float endlessly, ideas without action, dreams without results. When you listen to Cena and Rogan together, you realize that the two must coexist. Discipline without curiosity risks turning into a cage. Curiosity without discipline risks fading into chaos. But when you bring them together, you create something truly powerful, a life that is both grounded and expansive, structured, yet free. This is the bigger lesson. Strength is not enough. Knowledge is not enough. To live a life of peace and purpose, you need both: the unwavering discipline to build and the endless curiosity to keep evolving. Cena teaches us that you can't give up on yourself, no matter how tough the road becomes. Rogan teaches us that you must keep questioning, no matter how comfortable the answers may seem. Together they remind us that growth comes from holding both truths at once. And isn't that what life is about? We are all walking a path filled with uncertainty. Some days require us to be warriors, disciplined, and unshakable. Other days require us to be seekers, open and questioning. The art of living well is learning when to be which, and understanding that both roles are part of the same journey. So the real takeaway isn't just about Cena or Rogan. It's about us. It's about recognizing that we have the power to combine discipline with curiosity in our own lives, to wake up early and put in the work, but also to pause and ask ourselves, why am I doing this? What does this mean? Where is it leading me? That balance is what transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary purpose. The bigger lesson is simple yet profound. Peace is not the absence of struggle. It's the harmony between structure and exploration. It's knowing when to hold on tightly and when to let go and when. That's the conversation worth having. That's the life worth living. At the end of the day, what truly matters is not how many championships you've won, how much money you've earned, or how many people know your name. What matters is whether you found peace within yourself, because without inner peace, every achievement feels empty. John Cena's life teaches us that peace is earned through discipline. It's not about controlling the world, but about mastering yourself. Every early morning, every tough workout, every sacrifice is a reminder that we are stronger than our excuses. His discipline shows us that true freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you want, it comes from doing what is right, even when it's hard. Joe Rogan, on the other hand, teaches us that peace is found through curiosity. By asking questions, by refusing to settle for surface-level answers, by exploring what it means to be human, his openness shows us that wisdom is not a destination, but a journey. Every conversation, every new perspective, every doubt faced with honesty, it all becomes part of a bigger picture, leading to understanding. When you bring these lessons together, something extraordinary happens. You realize that peace isn't passive, it's not simply sitting in silence or escaping life's challenges. True peace is active. It's the balance of discipline and curiosity, strength and openness, willpower and wonder. It's the courage to build your body, but also the humility to expand your mind. And maybe that's the real power of imagining Joe Rogan and John Cena together, not because of their fame or their achievements, but because their paths remind us of our own. We all carry the ability to be disciplined. We all carry the ability to be curious. The question is, will we choose to combine them? Peace begins when you decide that your life is worth both the effort and the exploration. When you commit to never giving up and to never stop questioning, that is the path to peace. And if you choose to walk it, like Cena and Rogan in their own ways have, you'll find that the life you've been searching for has been waiting within you all along.